Hello.
Very cool, very cool. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Another Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Another week into the new year.
Yeah.
And how things up how are things up north of the border?
They're pretty good. The temperatures have been going up. We're supposed to be plus 14 Celsius this week at some point. So we were like in the minus 20s and now we're going to plus 14. So, yep. It's doing good.
Maybe I shouldn't tell you what it's like here.
What nice and hot, right?
No. Nice and sunny and oh, okay, Megan. Say hi there. Megan is an Aussie and a Seattle Seahawks fan. So she's
we got
watching football.
all right, right. We got both Lindas in the house. Hello, Lindas. And
Hey.
I'm in top chat, so let me change that.
Oh,
Here we
the
go.
bane of everything.
Watching the football. What's the team? What team is she watching? Do you know? What team are you watching, Megan?
She said, hope to be back later.
Oh, she's an Aussie, so by football, does that mean rugby?
No, I could be, but she is a Seattle Seahawks fan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Big Seattle Seahawks fan.
Ah,
That's why the Aussie 12 is in her name there. As well as being she's watching Niners and
Niners and
Eagles.
the Eagles. Cool. Nice.
She's also a huge mega fan of Back to the Future.
Of who?
Back to the Future.
Oh, that's cool. I love that movie.
So much of a fan. She just recently scored the skateboard from the movie.
Cool.
No,
Very
the
cool.
skateboard.
The
Sorry,
hoverboard.
my husband said the hoverboard, and I go, no, the skateboard. So lots of doing while I talk from. It arrived today.
Got it in the mail.
Have you fallen off of it yet, or is it strictly for display purposes?
Yeah, one of those expensive collectibles.
Oh, Linda's also watching the game. There you go. Now you two can chat with each other about it. Oh, you just got the deck. Okay.
That's fun.
Well, lots doing this last week.
Yeah.
Well, since the new year even. It's been a little rough, a little heartbreaking.
Some pretty horrible stuff.
Yeah. I gotta say that. Oh, that's right. She's going to another show. Yeah, that's the musical, right? That you're going to in 2 weeks again. She met. She went to the musical here not too long ago, last year, and met the writer. I believe he was only sitting a few rows ahead of her. And so yeah, she's gonna have a lot to talk about after her trip in 2 weeks. Yeah, lots of crazy. You are correct. Yeah, Bob Gale.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. Yeah.
Yeah. So she had her fangirl moment there of almost passing out.
That's fun. I love that.
Yeah. I grew up with people like that around all the time, so I don't have the same kind of wonder that other people do. Kind of takes some of the magic out of it when your family works with these people.
Yeah, totally.
So it's
Well,
like,
I have the same thing with some like with musicians and stuff. Like I met
right,
but there are things like, like I actually met my bass hero. I took lessons from um the guy that I looked up to, and when it was cool, like it was, an experience and the whole thing, but I have it was an experience that made me realize that you hear people say don't meet your heroes, like that it's real.
right.
Don't meet your heroes. They may not turn out to be exactly the way you hope they would be, so
Okay, I'm going to throw this out here. You met Geddy Lee?
yeah.
Ah, I guessed.
Oh, I know.
Oh, dude. Way back in high school, when Rush became very, very popular here in the US,
Hey, Jody.
it
Yeah.
seemed like it seemed like, at least to me as a kid, it was like, wow, we're stealing all of the best from Canada.
Yeah. That's true.
Actors and, all sorts of famous.
Comedians.
Yes. And what I think is sad too is so many countries have wonderful talented people. So if I tell someone like, "Oh yeah, I really like George Canyon," they're like, "Who?"
Hey.
And I'm like, "George Canyon, he's only one of the most famous country singer-songwriters in Canada." Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, it was like, okay, well, not everybody can be Rush. But he is famous enough for Hallmark to steal him and use him in some of their movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, uh, hopefully on that note, I wish that our country would steal other things.
You
Let's
mean
get
that in a good way? Not our
yeah.
oil. Not our oil.
No, not the oil. Although, geez. I'm thinking that he's gonna try and bookend with Greenland and then say, "Oh, look, you're in the middle."
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll get into that. We'll get.
Yeah, the guy needs to be
Hey,
punched.
Muckster.
Muckster and hey Wyatt. All
Why do
right,
you want
Megan.
country? So
Megan,
disappointed in you, Muckster.
we try to keep it down to 2 hours, so
Yeah.
we realize people have lives and yeah. So yeah, I thought I'd get started off with a little brain worm talking.
Yeah.
And
So new
by
dietary guidelines, right?
yeah, RFK Jr. put out the new dietary guidelines, and while I am Ned, I'm so good now. Okay, fangirl,
It's to
because
see you, Ned.
I'm a fangirl of Ned. So there's my
Never meet your heroes. Never meet.
my. That's right. Well, he's in a humid state, so that works out pretty well for him. um yeah, RFK Jr. And his team recently put out the new dietary guidelines, and while they made some major improvements, there's still a lot to be desired. One of which, first of all, RFK.
Do you wanna go over just what the positives are first, and then we'll hit the negatives? Do you think we should do it that way, or am I stealing your thunder here, and I should just let you
You're
go?
not stealing. You're not stealing anything. It's a shit show anyway.
Yeah.
The
You just go. You just go. I was just throwing that in there.
it's one of those things where, yeah, I've got so much to say and I'm shaking my head at the same time. Let me just state that it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
that's still setting a really low bar, because as we know, nutrition in the United States is really not important. profits are.
Yeah.
And while there's some great things that did occur, there's a lot left to be desired. And we'll start with the mantra of eat real food. Absolutely. Somebody finally said it way up high. The majority of the food that we eat here in the United States is not food, it's food products.
Yeah. Processed foods.
Yeah,
highly processed. Yeah, highly
processed foods.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to rank on all processed foods, because actually some processed foods are very helpful to us.
Yep.
One of the things,
it's about like ready to eat processed foods, like that are that people use as meals and stuff like that. Those are the things that are the big problems.
Like, a lot of the things that put in your microwave or something like that.
Comes out of a package and eat it or whatever. Yeah.
Right. I have a real love-hate relationship with oils. Some of the oils, the term healthy, I don't think applies to oils. Can you say that like olive oil, or I won't even get in the argument of extra virgin and all that. Can you say that olive oil is healthier than, say, soybean oil? Sure, you can. Canola oil that is not GMO canola, is it healthier than other oils? Yeah, you can say that. There's even a lot of studies that show that both of those oils are contributed to lowering heart disease.
Right.
Where other oils contribute to heart disease.
Right, yeah.
The reason I have such an avocado oil, same thing. And the reason why I have such a love-hate relationship with oils in general is they have literally very little nutritional content with a high amount of calories.
Right, yeah.
And for a healthy person, you do a little stir fry or something like that, no big deal, non-issue.
Yeah.
But for somebody like me who is trying to stay alive by not eating, and in order to do that, I have to do it by not eating crap. Eating oil, or not nutritionally, but bulking up and using a lot of oil is, contributing to a death sentence.
Yeah.
So when we look at these dietary guidelines, unfortunately, hey, Woodrow, unfortunately, these dietary guidelines don't apply to the majority of Americans. And by Americans, I mean people in the United States.
Yeah, I get
it. I keep trying I want to make sure to make that reference, because we got a lot more Americans than just who's in the United States.
Yeah.
40%, a little over 40% of adults in the United States are obese.
Right.
Okay, people like me. That means there's a very significant number that are overweight. And a lot of those people as well, in the overweight and obese category, also have chronic issues.
Yeah.
So none of these dietary guidelines really apply. Some of the buzzwords and sentences in these dietary guidelines will work, but for the most people, and we're also tired. I was going to go into my issues with RFK. He's a big advocate of junk food.
Is he really? Yeah.
Yes, he is. This is a
Like
guy who has no problem tweeting on his, Instagram, whatever those damn social medias are, that he won a victory with Coca-Cola because they're going to switch from high fructose corn syrup to sugar. Yeah.
Well
big
done.
victory. Yeah. Woo woo. I'm cheering. Pepsi too. Now I agree he got somewhat of a win there with some of the food dyes and additives that have been banned in Europe for years. They're finally, but this is a guy who touts the health benefits of beef tallow.
Oh, right. I saw that.
Yeah. So he went into a fast food joint who are switching their oil to beef tallow again, which is what they used to in the 70s. That's what all French fries were fried in. Yeah, so full of saturated fat and crap. Again, French fries are like, and believe me, I like them too, especially when you got a little Lowry seasoning salt on them. Okay, I'm not gonna deny I don't like it, but I'm a tater tot girl, so there is that. Which absorbs way more oil than the French fries do. But yeah, for the majority of Americans, and I've brought it up before, our biggest national security risk is not China and Russia and Somalians and all this crap. It's the health of our society.
It's a big problem.
It's a huge problem. Who's going to defend this country if you're too fat to get your ass off the couch and defend this country? I'm calling it now. I'm going to predict it, whatever you want to call it now. We will be attacked on this soil at some point because of our horrible foreign and domestic policies. Somebody's going to come in here and take advantage of that, just like they did on 9/11. And
well, I hope not, but
yeah. Who's going to defend this country? Sure, not going to be a bunch of our fat asses, right? So if you are Linda, there are some people who have tried it and it has done horrible things to their face, and other people it hasn't. Oh, the Canadians are gonna defend it.
We're here. We're ready. We got our hockey sticks.
You're gonna beat them with some poutine and their hockey sticks. When Canadian Tire starts coming down here, then probably. So RFK has been a big. Also, too, you have to look at who he is in general. He has been an attorney that's gone after chemical companies.
Right.
All right. So now he's on running our health system like a lawyer. So he attacks the enemy, or what he perceives to be an enemy. Remember, when it comes to law, it's not about the truth, it's about winning.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so he claims these victories. Well, if you look at the nutritional guidelines and you look at the people who are on the board, it used to be, and granted, this wasn't the best, but they used to have a group of people from across the spectrum of scientific researchers.
As it should be, you'd think.
You would think. And the other thing about science, people want to pigeonhole science. You cannot do that. Science is constantly changing and evolving. Research proves out new theories. So science is constantly changing. If you want to try and cast it in concrete, you lose.
Because you can't do that.
That is not how science works.
No, that's the point of science, is to keep adapting and changing.
Yeah, you're constantly adapting and changing. But when you wipe out, first of all, you ignore the research of so many other countries. Hey, Ty. So many other countries. Look at the healthiest countries in the world. Their food guidelines are nothing like ours.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. In fact, for some of them, and I believe I want to call, I think Sweden and Denmark, they actually include drinking water as part of their food guidelines.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. They don't have stuff like sugar and butter, things like that on their nutritional guidelines. They actually talk about food. They name food. They don't put it under, proteins, fruits, vegetables. They don't do it. They actually name the foods.
Yeah.
They don't single ingredient identify these foods. Another problem we seem to have. So it's wonderful that at least for the invention of the internet, that we are able to look at other countries and compare.
Yeah.
And then you take those from, I think there's 9 other countries that are healthier than the United States. That should tell you something right there. We don't promote healthy living. We promote profit making.
Yeah, it's very corporate based.
Yeah. So chicken nuggets, it unfortunately is not. No pink slime for you on that list. So yeah, and by the way, several of the people that are on the board that came up with these new guidelines are from the meat and dairy industry. Now, if you look back historically at the dietary guidelines, you're going to see a shift, and it's basically same shit, different 5 years. Because you'll see each time it's changed, somebody has picked an enemy. And so he his claim is it's the war on protein, the war on saturated fat. Well, there's going to be no more war. And, even though there are so many double blind, yeah, what a surprise. So much double blind and massive research out there that shows that red meat does promote heart disease. And I'm not talking the occasional burger or having, you're out with your buddies and you have a steak at Texas Roadhouse. I'm not talking like that.
No, it's too much. Like if you're eating too much of it, if it's like,
yeah, if you're eating red meat every day, in a couple of decades, you're going to be hurting.
You're going to feel it. I know it for me as I've gotten older. I used to be able to eat a whole steak, like no problem. I can't do it anymore because if I do, I pay for it for days later. So I still eat red meat, but I just eat a smaller portion of it,
Well, I'm lucky because in 2010, I went to the hospital and all my teeth were removed. So me trying to gum in a steak is a worthless cause.
You don't blend it up or something?
No. And amazingly enough, even with as crappy as I was still eating at the time, my blood pressure dropped.
Oh,
go figure.
Yeah, right.
Because I was loving my steaks and my burgers. I grew up a meat and potatoes girl. That's the way my dad raised me.
Yeah.
But after no, there is never too much of that, Jimbo. My favorite meat. Tube steak. Hey, you be quiet back there. Are you in the chat at all?
No. Me?
Oh, I have a very supportive husband. He's back there playing some porn game or something.
Porn game.
What, honey? Oh, he's listening. Well, no, if you would have been reading in chat, you could have defended flat Earth. I think I just got laser eyes burned in the back of my head.
Yeah.
If you want to believe a lie, it's entirely up to you.
I could say the same thing.
There's too much empirical evidence.
Lasers
are straight. Yes, line of sight.
Hey, lasers are under the control of the Jews. There is one in chat. You can talk to Ned about it.
Shoot in straight lines, right?
Nuh-uh. Yeah, the Jews probably know how to bend those rays, so I don't believe that for a minute. Anyway, this is my show. Oh, it's terrible. But maybe we could cook a steak with the Jewish space laser. So yeah, when I no longer could eat tough fibrous meats like that, no, I didn't piss him off, but I did cause his heart to skip a few beats there when I attacked his belief system. Yeah, Ned's a laser expert. That's right. Just no pork. You know what? I can't really gum pork either, but I do like Chinese pork. I can't deny that either. And luckily, because where I live now, I have no access to it. So imagine that. My heart rate's really gone down. I've been accused on occasion of my heart blood pressure being low.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. But let's see, what was the other thing on there?
Well, I have that inverted. I have the new. This is the new inverted.
So yes, they claimed they were going to turn the pyramid on its head, and bing, 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 they did that. Mm-hmm. And I have issues. I've got issues.
Well, we know that
they've got all the. Look, when he said that they were ending the war on saturated fat, no kidding, because there it all is right at the top in that meat section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now the slab of salmon, okay, cool. The eggs, no problem. Yogurt is a processed food. It's also a fermented food.
It's fermented though, yeah.
Yeah, the canned tuna, seafood. But if you'll notice, the healthier of the proteins, which again, some people cannot eat, by the way,
yeah,
are at the bottom. You've got a walnut, you've got beans, lentils, nuts, seeds.
Yeah, legumes and stuff.
They've got it, right under a ginormous stick of butter. Great. Saturated fat. Full of it. Now, and then right in the middle, are your healthy fats. Still up in this section though, the olive oil, the avocado, and the stick of butter.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, nuts, because they are full of fat. Yeah. The saturated fat having such prominence on this pyramid is problematic for me. Because again, we're not talking about the majority. It's dietary guidelines for Americans. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about the majority of Americans here. The people who really need to hear and read and understand the nutrition advice that will get them healthier.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that, like, basically the guidelines are more geared towards people who are basically already healthy, like to some degree.
Well,
right?
for me, I can't even say that, because a lot of people who consider themselves healthy, they have no, they're not showing any kind of issues with chronic disease or stuff like that, they're going to their doctor and getting regular blood work and finding out they've got heart disease, they've got high blood pressure,
Well, sure, yeah.
their cholesterol is through the roof. Well, for people that are healthy, and these are people that are like exercising, they're not sedentary.
Yeah.
They're finding out that they're not as healthy as they thought they were. You hear about these athletes, high school and pro. Guy goes out on the football field and croaks of a heart attack because of how he's been eating. There's this myth that because they look healthy, they are healthy. But it's also that's another myth that these dietary guidelines are selling. The myth about if it's natural, it's healthy for you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of chemicals and poisons and stuff like that are all natural. They're made from all natural ingredients. They'll kill you. They're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The irregular food run. Oh, wait, where's Spartan? You two math nuts can go at it. Inverted irregular food rhombus. So yeah, I'm glad that the pressure to stop with the ignoring processed food has paid off. Mm-hmm. Eat real food. Yes, that's a great message. But what about the rest of it?
Well, they did also, to be fair, they did add like added sugars, non-nutritive sweeteners and whatnot are all added to that list of like try and cut those out if you can, So yeah. I mean, at least it's something because those weren't even there before. They weren't telling people to like really cut down on those before. Because I look. Go ahead.
Highlight Jimbo there, cutting out fast food. Jimbo, you are so right about that. However, our health guru, Mr. Wormbrains, is a big proponent of fast food. He's in fast food joints all the time. What kind of messaging is that? Eat real food, like this burger and these French fries from this fast food restaurant.
Yeah, well, even the president's into that. Like,
yeah,
sending that message out.
Yeah, the fast food. People in the U.S. are so susceptible to this kind of messaging because they don't politically educate themselves. This is all about politics, and it's all about making money. So while he said, sure, we're not going to go to war against saturated fat and stuff, he also allowed people from very strong corporate lobbies, I have to add, to help write these guidelines. And it makes me angry.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a way it's better, but it doesn't go far enough. Yes, exactly, Jimbo. Exactly. Now I'm gonna eventually get back to being whole food plant-based again. That doesn't mean that my neighbor has to do it. I'm not that militant. You do you. But for me, I was much healthier and felt so much better that way.
I mean, that's the thing as well, right? For everybody and their families, it's like figure out what's good for you, and educate yourself on what good food is if you can. And we talked about it in the last episode about how so much of it does come down to money, right? Like people,
Yes.
it's hard to eat healthy all the time because depending on what your money situation is, groceries are expensive and there's that whole aspect. But ultimately you have to just do what's best for you. And the idea is to try and eat as healthy as you can, try not
Right.
to, and it's hard. People get tired, it costs more to be poor than it does to be rich.
Yeah, people don't realize that. It's expensive to be poor.
Yeah.
My husband found that out. Going through his divorce, having to live in my van for 3 years. Because he couldn't afford his VA loan right now is in prison because the house hasn't sold yet. We have to wait for another court date now. And he had to do what he could. So he had a roof over his head. He moved into the van.
Yeah.
6'3", and I don't have a high top on it. It was a miserable existence for him. But he was out of the elements. And it was a roof that was already paid for. Because I owned it free and clear. I did not owe a loan on it. Right. And it's the same thing with food too. Follow the money. Most of the processed food products are made from ingredients that are heavily subsidized.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to be miserable. I found I love pancakes with syrup. And I figured out a way of how to make syrup with no sugar. And it's still sweet.
And do the Canadians agree with this?
Well, someday when I'm healthier, I hope to be able to go back to maple syrup, but right now I cannot. Hey Misty, I used arrowroot powder to thicken the water in the blueberries.
Oh, okay.
And then I used a little stevia to sweeten it.
Oh, well, okay. That
Bingo.
works.
Yeah.
It's something, right?
Yeah, no gigantic glucose spike. My poor liver doesn't have to try and break down sugar.
Yeah.
And blueberries are incredibly healthy. Again, I'm not going to shit on all processed foods because I do use some oil. But I limit it a lot because it doesn't have nutritional value, and because I'm trying to cure myself of a lot of chronic issues and life-threatening issues. I don't have time to mess around. So using oil is quite sparing because of that. I need to eat as nutritionally dense as possible. That's what's going to save my life. One of these days, I gotta I gotta drive 80 miles just to go to the doctor. So I'm not going there once a week to get anything done.
Wow.
And let's blame Canada for their long waits. I have to wait in order to get into a new doctor near the liver specialist I want to go see. I got to wait 3 months.
Oof, yeah.
Just for my first visit to a primary care. So anytime somebody wants to blame Canada for their long waits, I just want to punch them in the dick. Now, Jimbo, the only argument I have with Little Debbie's is their pumpkin cookies they bring out in the fall. I am going to figure out a way to make those and make them healthier. I love them. and that's been a lot of the recipes that I have come up with. I've like a gravy. Because I have no teeth, I have to rely on a lot of sauces. Because I just don't make as much saliva as I used to now, or used to before. So I use gravy, but I don't put salt or flour in it. I use resistant starch for a thickener, like potato starch, or even or even cornstarch. And on the cornstarch, I make sure it's organic, so I can significantly reduce the chance that I get GMO cornstarch. That is there's not enough science there for me to feel comfortable, so I err on the side of caution and try and stay away from the GMOs as much as possible. Right. I cannot do energy drinks at all. That's like taking a big IV and sticking it right to my liver and shoving sugar down it.
Yeah.
And you know, because I'm such a sugar addict, the non-sugar energy drinks taste like shit to me. There's no way I'm drinking them. And
I don't drink them at all.
Yeah, these are things that I've learned since, you know, my liver almost bit the dust. Yeah. This is what, and I have to remember when I'm, you know, over the holidays, I was a little bit bad. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we all were. You know, we all were.
But I also had to remind myself, don't eat a whole plate of this crap because this is gonna kill me.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. The B12 is the only thing that we don't really get naturally anymore, because B12 is actually some kind of mold or something like that. And it used to be on all plants, but because we've destroyed the soil, it doesn't really grow naturally anymore. They have to curate it or come up with a synthetic. My body does not synthesize synthetics very well, so it's a waste of money for me to buy something synthetic and take it. But if you are if you're eating mostly plants, you eat with abundance, you eat across the color spectrum, you're gonna get most of what you need. Now I do take vitamin D3 as a backup, because I used to be on Wellbutrin for my mood swings.
Right.
And I found out, I just got to the point where getting the Wellbutrin was a pain in the ass. I didn't want to pay for it anymore. And I started taking vitamin D3, and it had almost the same effect as the Wellbutrin. And when I got the vitamin D3, I made sure that it was natural. It wasn't synthetic. And I don't have violent mood swings anymore. So to be able to get off of Wellbutrin, and the scientific name for that, I think, was bupropion, and still have a similar effect, I was thrilled.
Yeah,
because
great.
Now the only thing I haven't been able to really do anything with, and part of it is because of where I live, is I still take Claritin during the day, and I take a Benadryl before I go to bed.
Oh, okay.
Benadryl, unlike with some people, it does not make me tired. But I have such horrible oh crap, what's it called? Sinus drainage when I'm not taking those, because I'm allergic to dust. So by taking the Claritin and the Benadryl, I don't have the postnasal drip like it used to have. It used to be a waterfall down the back of my throat. It drove me crazy. And since I started taking those, it's taking care of the my dust issues. But also too, what will be significantly more helpful is if I live somewhere that's a little more humid.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually, yeah, you know what, Angel Gamer, that was true in Washington State too. Yeah, they're right there. See, and so I want to move somewhere that's a little more humid, so that I'm not as affected by the dust. Yeah, now Jimbo's bringing up another thing that's really, really important, and that's getting plenty of rest. Not just falling asleep, but actually getting rest. I do not.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I sleep for 5 hours in a night, and I cannot tell you how much of that is actually rest.
Yeah, I know it was an important thing with my sort of mental health and getting better, was like trying to get more sleep for sure,
Yeah. And I think that should be part of the dietary guidelines.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
I think it's an important
well-rested
part.
sleep.
Drinking water. Another, other countries have these with their as part of their dietary guidelines. But you would think with as much bottled water as is done in this country that would be made part of the dietary guidelines, but I guess not enough profit.
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
Not enough profit. So I will get into the dietary guidelines more as we go along. I will eventually, when I make videos, make a few videos about it and talk about particulars, because there's much more. Yeah. Well, it's not just bottled water. It's plastics to begin with.
Yeah.
For all the good that plastics have done, there are countries that did not have plastics as a general rule, no plastic shopping bags, stuff like that, that have microplastics are coming up in their blood tests now.
Well, I mean, there's that whole plastic continent that's like growing in the Pacific Ocean.
In the Pacific Ocean, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. It's bigger than it was like a decade ago,
and we are definitely a society of what we don't see won't hurt us. Which is also a lie we've been sold, that we've been convinced of. People don't want to talk about factory farming. Listeria getting in our produce. Listeria is from water runoff from feedlots.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I live, this is, oh God. The closest doctors to me are in Yuma, Arizona. Now, there's a canal, a water canal that runs through Yuma for irrigation. On one side of the canal are these great big farms that grow lettuce that you get in bags.
Okay.
Across the canal is one of the biggest feedlots in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. It used to be that eating fruits and vegetables was safer for you. No. Yeah, not with the E. coli and other things that are getting into our produce.
Yeah, when you have farming practices going on like that, it kind of messes up the game a little bit. A lot.
I know it's not the profitable thing, and we're all about making those shareholders happy. I would love it if we went back to the family farming
Oh, of course.
Buying your stuff within, say, a 20-mile radius of where you live.
I mean, it of course we're not going to be able to put that genie back in the bottle, right? Like, I mean, we need to be able to create mass food. Like, there's so many people on the planet now. But just
Yeah.
as an individual, and here's another thing, like this is I'm going to say this, but I realize there's a lot of people that can't do it. But if you can, try and shop locally, like try and go to, if there's like a local farmers market or something like that, because that supports local farms and your local um agricultural community. And if you can do that, I mean, do it. It's good for you. It's good for your community. But I realize that not everybody can do that. People in the cities, and it's just not feasibly possible for everybody, and that's unfortunate. And sure, I wish we could go back as well, but yeah, it's not going to happen at this point.
Jimbo brings up another good point. We don't know what meat actually tastes like anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. Like if you ever had like you eat like a store-bought tomato, conventional tomato, and then you eat like a heirloom tomato that's like freshly picked from some Amish family or something like that, and it's unbelievably different.
The first time I experienced that taste difference, I was believe it or not, I was down in Georgia at a campground.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of us decided to run over to Florida. So we went to Jacksonville, and we went to one of those places where you could pick citrus.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody picked a bunch of grapefruit. I, of course, didn't touch that grapefruit because I wasn't going to eat that sour crap.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you need to taste this. This is what fresh produce tastes like, not the crap that gets picked before it's ripe.
Yeah.
And okay. And he cut that grapefruit open, and I tried it, and it was like eating sugar. I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that was my first experience. And then of course now when you buy meat, especially poultry,
yes,
look at the label.
Yeah.
They put brine and everything now.
Yeah. There's a large Hutterite communities around here, around Calgary, and there's some different places that sell their stuff. And there's right near me, there's an Italian food market, and they carry produce and like meat from that are locally, locally grown or raised. And I only buy their chickens now because they sell the Hutterite chickens. And I mean, the difference between a conventional chicken from the grocery store and one of those chickens, like I'll make a soup, or even if I just roast it. So Jimbo says same with chicken and steak. The difference is unbelievable. And I already knew that because when I was growing up, we raised chickens for a while. We had a small like hobby farm, and I think we did it for like 3 years or something like that. And so I already knew that, but if you've never had it, you'll see the difference right away if you try it.
There's a farm in Virginia, and Joel Salatin's the owner, and he is a huge proponent of eating real food. It's a place called Polyface Farms, and this guy appears in a lot of documentaries and stuff about food.
Mm-hmm.
He does naturally butchered meat on site, and he was taken to court over this. And he was basically, you want to take, and they tried to shut his farm down. He goes, you want to take me to court? Bring it. And he went to court. He was able to prove that his methods of butchering, open air, right there, out in, not inside some building all maybe sterilized and stuff, but out in the open air, he was able to prove that his meat had way less parasitical issues, stuff like that. It was actually healthy.
Yeah.
Much healthier. And so to this day, he's still butchering his meat outside, chickens and everything.
I can see that on the smaller scales, it's just once we get into, the massive corporate, slaughterhouses, it's just not possible, like
Jimbo, I'm a little bit older than you, so it was going on before them, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. Because that's when meat was allowed to be exposed to carbon monoxide and ammonia. Yeah. So basically they sweep the crap off the floor, rinse it in ammonia, run it through the grinders. That's your pink slime. That stuff is washed with ammonia.
Yeah.
And meat was allowed to be exposed to carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide's a poison. It kills us, right? But you know what else it does? It keeps the meat looking pink and fresh for days longer than if it's not exposed.
Yeah, I mean, we do like aged meat, right? Like aged beef and stuff like that, and that's like you hang the meat and it's exposed to the natural elements.
Well, think about in the Middle Ages when they were cooking stuff. They took that big old hunk of meat that they had hanging there, maggots and all, and threw it in the pot. They considered the maggots extra protein and meat tenderizer. Of course, then again, we had the plague happen from unsanitary practices. So
I mean, the big issue there is that, like, because there's so many people and we need so much meat and meat hack. We're like back in the day, you were getting your meat locally, like right, literally from the farmer, or you were doing it yourself, right? And now people are buying, like, the meat that they're buying in their superstore could be coming from 100 miles away, if not more. And
well, think back in the 40s and 50s, even in urban areas, people had chickens in their backyard. Some had ducks.
Yeah, totally. I'm a proponent of like people being able to have chickens and stuff like that.
Yeah. But we're not allowed to do that. Oh, it's the sanitary. Yeah, and you know what? Because of how lazy and apathetic people are these days, there are good points to some of those. But again, to me, it also falls under this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The big push back in the day, especially if like in the 80s, right? With the famine in Ethiopia and all that. Wow, there is some selling going on with that. The world these countries in the world, they're starving. We need to be able to feed them. Hey, guess what? If we start by taking care of the food waste that we cause, that's going to take care of a lot of those issues.
Yeah.
But then it's then there's the complaint of shelf stable. Convenience.
That's a big thing, right?
Yeah, it's a huge thing. And that's part of the reason, why I need to get away from the grocery store. If my goals are not impossible. They're not within reach right now. But within the next few years, if I keep myself alive long enough, I'm gonna make them happen, and I'm gonna get 80 to 90% of what I eat is gonna be from plants, whole food plants, not some crap. And I want to be able to get 80 90% of the food that we have is stuff that we grow or get from a farm. When there are things that I'm gonna buy at the grocery store. It's just way more convenient. like I use oat milk, coconut milk, and soy milk.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I ain't making it. It's too much of a pain in the ass. I'm gonna buy it from the
No,
store.
of course. Like
And
there's certain things we're gonna have to do. Like that
yeah,
are just helps with because we like to eat certain things or in certain ways, and I mean it's just a matter of recognizing what we're buying and like how much of it.
apple
Um,
cider vinegar is another one. I'm not gonna
yeah,
make
yeah,
it. I'm
yeah.
gonna buy it. So you're within reason. Oh, Woodrow, yes. Guess what I got coming from Amazon? I've got a cast iron bread pan. I also have bought a sourdough, a gluten-free sourdough starter.
Oh, nice.
And I'm gonna make bread from oh darn it. What's the grain? Spelt. I'm gonna make my sourdough from spelt.
Mm.
Yeah, because I gotta watch watching carbohydrates is important. And that's another thing on that damn food. Can you put that picture back up? My other bit. Whole grains down at the bottom. What a load of crap. Anyone that's been sold on the idea that the low carb diet is the way to go. It's not low carbs. It's the carbs you intake. There are so many different kinds of whole grains or grain or flour or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody like me, I need to stay away from wheat and processed grains because they turn into glucose in my system, which is what's killing my liver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So by going to something like spelt, an ancient grain that has not been really messed with yet, the glycemic load from that grain is very low. It's not turning into glucose. It takes so long to get through your intestines that it gets through into your gets through your small intestine, or is it, I'm thinking backwards. Once it gets down into the lower part of your GI, it ferments.
Right, yeah.
Fermented food is very healthy. I can't stand the taste of it. That's why I don't like vinegar and
Oh,
stuff like
really?
that.
Okay.
But if I'm eating these ancient grains and I'm eating things that are resistant starches, those are the things that will get down in the lower part of my GI and ferment. Guess what is one of the talk about, a war on something. No cheesy puffs for me, no, because dairy powder on it, and they're crap. That's a hard no. But I will say that before I stopped eating all that crap, I really, really liked the white cheddar Cheetos. So, not gonna lie, I was full of, not so much full of junk food now. But one of the things that is there's a couple of foods that's totally crucified, one more often than the other, that is actually quite healthy, and that's potatoes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, leave the skin on, there's all your nutrition, but you know what potatoes are full of? Resistant starch.
Okay, yeah, right.
And resistant starch is a starch that you're not going to absorb as much. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not turning away from the potato. Potatoes are not evil. Potatoes grown full of Roundup may be bad, but I've really had to do a lot of looking into what I eat. and resistant starch is the direction I have to go in to save my liver.
Yeah.
Now another thing that these dietary guidelines don't tell you, besides the fact that they're not for most Americans either. Fruits and vegetables, yeah, they don't make a lot of profit. So I don't like that they're like in the same part of the pyramid as all the meat and saturated fat. You should be able, depending on your preparation, cheesy balls. Depending on your preparation, or especially if you eat it raw, even, you should not have a limit on fruits and vegetables. Eat as much as you want.
Yeah, and
That's
eat
what
as
I
much as you
do.
can. Eat as much as you
Yeah,
can, really.
that's what I do. Because they may not make you as full. You may go through them faster, but guess what? It's probably because your body needs the nutrients in them anyway.
Yeah, and I find that once you augment your diet a lot, like that that feeling, that sensation of feeling full changes. Like, when I didn't eat as much, as many vegetables and whole foods as I did at one time, like say when I was younger, it just I wouldn't feel full, and so I turned to something because we're addicted, fats and salt, and we eat that stuff, and we go,
Yeah.
oh, I feel so full because it makes you feel bloated and stuff like that. But once I changed my diet, like now I can eat like a bunch of vegetables, and it's not about feeling full so much as it is feeling satisfied. Like, oh, okay, I feel like I've eaten enough, and I no longer count on that bloated feeling to make me feel as though like I've eaten
Right.
enough, and I think that sort of changes as you augment your diet and you let your body kind of metabolize and learn how to get used to being getting actual nutrients into it.
Right. Anyway, so I'll shut up about that now because there's more to come. Obvious. This is something I'm insanely passionate about.
Yeah, there's something. Can I throw out one more thing?
Go for it.
So one of the things I noticed, talking about how the cost of food and it can be hard to eat healthy all the time because healthy foods can be more expensive. But here's one of the things I've noticed with a lot of people is, we're spoiled in the way that we like to have something different every day, like a different meal for dinner, a different meal for lunch and whatnot. And of course we do, we like the taste of foods and different things, and we just have cravings, right? Today I want this and tomorrow I want that. And if you can change that a little bit and, start making some, like if you can make like a healthy pot of chili or just a large batch of something, because if you buy food in larger quantities, like you can save money that way. And the thing is like you make a big batch of chili, okay, you've got to eat it for 3 dinners maybe because you have a big batch of it, but it's healthy and you're saving money, you know? The if you understand what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
buying food.
Yeah, my issue right now is storage. I live in a 27-foot travel trailer. Two of us with a dog and a cat. So the last thing we have in here is storage. That is
Right.
definitely an issue. And because it is an older trailer, I have not all my utilities work, we'll say. So
Okay.
like
Yeah.
right now, because this trailer is built in 1977, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to part of the reason why I have such a large solar system for it is I've bypassed all the electrical in this trailer. I had
Oh
to
yeah.
because it was a fire risk.
Yeah.
So now I have a 4.1 cubic foot refrigerator. I'm not storing much in that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Clearly, you have to work within the means you have.
right, and that is another thing on the cost as well. So, I love to batch cook. I am not. I don't know if it's got aluminum wiring or not because I don't use it. I do know that my solar system does not. And the solar is all copper. And it's still on a 12-volt system. But the refrigerator runs on it 24/7. So I'm happy with that. Now to use my PC, we have to start the generator because my PC and other things. So once the new batteries are on, and I add a couple few more solar panels, we should be able to pretty much run 24/7 off of the solar. Nice. But it's still not big enough for me to put a bigger fridge in.
Yeah.
So we do have to be creative when it comes to that. And I like to bulk cook. Like I'm one of those people that I would cook a whole bunch of stuff on Sunday and set it up for some in the freezer, some in the fridge, other stuff was ready. And then I would take various ingredients that I had pre-prepared and make meals out of them. Or if there was something I made that just tasted so damn good, I just kept eating it.
Yeah.
Because as long as I covered the bases nutritionally, it didn't matter what I ate because I was giving my body everything it needed. So yeah, but more on this. We'll get into the ugly topics now. Not that this one was.
Can I show you something cool we could look at?
Show me something.
Okay, just so we can have a look at. Let me remove that. And let me add this as stage. Here we go. The Global Health Index for countries. And look at that. Taiwan is number 1 as 2025.
Ned, you're living in the wrong country. Well, there is my Nordic countries that I love so much. Norway and Sweden right there.
Yeah. We got Singapore, Israel, Japan, Sweden, Norway, Sweden, South Korea, Andorra, Iceland,
Luxembourg, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark.
Yeah, all the Scandinavians.
Yeah.
Belgium,
New Zealand,
Hong Kong, France, Austria. New Zealand.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to throw a little politics in there. Oh my God. Look at all those socialist countries.
I know, eh? Italy, Spain, Malta, Czechia.
Wait, Kuwait?
Yeah. 90.1 health.
Wow. Look at that.
Slovenia, Greece, Ireland. We haven't even hit North America yet here. Croatia, Australia, Bahrain, Portugal, Slovakia.
Wow.
Now we're hitting the United Kingdom. We're pretty far down the list.
Look at Cyprus, there's Canada, eh?
There's Canada, 86.5. Qatar, Macau.
Now I knew Chile. Canada was ahead of us, but I didn't realize that Canada was.
Well, we're still down. Pretty far down. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not surprised by it because I mean we're sharing the same economy, North American economy, right? And we're kind of in the same position of like fast food and all of that stuff. So it's not surprising to me at all.
Wow.
Chile, Latvia, Lithuania,
Saudi Arabia,
North Macedonia,
Brunei. Wow.
Yeah.
Russia. Are you kidding me?
Well, they're 83.6 on the Global Health Index. Here we are. We're in like Eastern European countries and.
Oh my!
There we go.
There we are.
81.5. That's pretty far down the list. The numbers aren't on the side here. I'm not going to count them, but I mean, it's pretty far down the list.
Yeah. we're the see, it's just like we're far down the list on education and all these other stuff. And, you know, if you want to try and brag that the United States is a top country and everything, no.
No, we do lead in one thing.
Yeah.
The amount of people incarcerated per capita.
Oh, that's right. My husband brought a good point. We do lead in one thing, the amount of people incarcerated per capita.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Woodrow says ban Tim Hortons, and you know what? I'm not even against that.
Not anymore. Yeah,
Not anymore.
They used to be good before like what 98, I think.
Well, once they were bought out by the by a U.S.
King,
subsidiary company or whatever, yeah, they just not subsidiary. What's the word I'm looking for there? A U.S. Well, they were bought out. They're owned by a U.S. company now, so yeah, everything went downhill. They don't make their donuts on site anymore, and yeah, they suck.
Well,
people are addicted to their coffee though, so.
Back in the late 80s, I worked for Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yeah.
I was a delivery driver. So we'd make the donuts right there. And then they'd put them on the racks, and then I'd go to the various gas stations and deliver the fresh donuts before the morning crowd started coming in.
Yeah.
But back then, there were a lot of Dunkin' Donuts that also had things like soup.
Yeah.
Made dinner rolls, things like that. It was really good. But you know, a lot of these companies have streamlined down into what made the most profit.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get that kind of stuff at Tim Hortons, but it's just the quality of it is garbage.
Yeah, it doesn't taste the same.
No,
it's like Jimbo earlier bringing up that, you know, we do not even know what real meat tastes like anymore. I have a friend. Amazingly enough, I've met him through playing World of Warcraft, and he is from Belarus, and he was complaining about the chicken did not taste like chicken. And I said, because you're not eating a chicken. You know, he was used to things the way they tasted back in their.
Yeah.
You know, I did not have a Krispy Kreme donut till about a year ago. And I lived in Ohio. That was Krispy Kreme Central, it seemed like. But I never ate one.
They opened one here not too long ago. There used to be one, and it was near the airport, which is far from me, so I never went there. But they opened one here in the area where I live, and I mean, they're freaking unbelievable. They remind me of donuts when I was a kid. So I mean,
when I was working for Dunkin' Donuts, they hated it, but I'd call them fat pills.
Yeah.
And they were like, they hoped that I did not use, and I did not use the term when I was delivering the customers, but when I was in the back of the shop, yeah, they were fat pills to me. But yeah, excellent graphic of how terrible our health is here.
Mm-hmm.
And to, you know, like I said, to me, that is a bigger national security risk than kidnapping Maduro.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, totally. Well, and you know, let me just say that it's also bad health is just what's making it harder for you to have better health care. Because the profit in people being sick that's why that's there, you know?
Jimbo, I used to be like that with the Dunkin' Donuts French crullers. Back in the, I can't do that now. That stuff would kill me. Yeah, so getting into something ugly here. Yeah.
You probably hit this topic, and I don't know how long this will go.
If you think it's about the drugs, Well, I got some swampland. Oh, that doesn't work. I got the London Bridge I can sell you. As the world probably knows right now, the Trump administration, along with a bunch of military from different branches, committed coup on Venezuela and kidnapped Maduro and his wife in the middle of the night and brought them here to stand trial again. They had already been convicted of junk, and now but one of their biggest complaints being that they were part of the drug cartels. For a brief moment, they did add fentanyl into that mix, but when they were regularly and frequently corrected that fentanyl was not part of the arsenal there, they gave that up.
Is that right?
I really had, I mean, I was hoping that it wouldn't go any farther than them illegally blowing up boats with civilians. It's one thing to accuse somebody of criminal behavior, but if you're going to act on it, you better have your evidence there. You better have your proof and be able to show it. In this administration, including the first time he was elected, has shown time and time again he's not going to do that. And that's stomping all over the Constitution. The Constitution in part was written to prevent things like that. The king or whoever happened to be in charge at the moment accusing and people and kidnapping them and throwing them in the dungeon without any kind of a trial, or hanging them out in the courtyard to make an example of them. It was to overlord in fear, so that keep the citizens in line using fear. And that's what's happening here. And they did so and prove it in monumental thing by kidnapping a world leader of another country.
Yeah.
There is so much wrong with that. So much wrong with that, including how many parts of the Geneva Convention were broken. Yeah, especially after he pardoned his reasoning for pardoning the former president of Honduras was that he was treated badly. Yeah, treated badly. Now, one thing that maybe a lot of people don't recognize about the United States is we've got a good track record of training dictators and putting them in power. Now, sure, they're not really a dictator when we first put them in power, but the moment that love relationship starts to sour and that country leader decides, United States, I don't need you anymore. You could just take a hike. Well, then the United States makes you pay for it. And we used to have the what was it, the College of the Americas, I think, or something like that. Yeah, regime change. If we don't like something or if we want something, we're going to figure out a way to make a regime change. And once Trump started talking about we're going to just take their oil, in his first term, I knew it was going to be only a matter of time before things started looking at Venezuela, because Venezuela is a whole lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, anyway, Venezuela would have been harder to mess with. Actually, you know what? I wish I would have talked to Ned before this, if he could even talk about some of this. He would have been a good one to discuss this with. But yeah, so that's one thing that the United States has gotten really good at is regime change and stealing resources. Venezuela has the largest I forgot the term now. Field, there's underground available oil in the world. It's also it's also cleaner.
I believe it goes what was it? I looked it up. It was Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, and then Canada.
Okay, I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was Venezuela, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, and interestingly enough, Canada's on there too.
Yeah, we're right there.
The one of the reasons why for those of you who were born much longer after I was, I got to live through the oil embargo of the 70s when the OPEC.
Okay, I was sorry to interrupt you. I was wrong.
Yes.
It is Venezuela first. Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Canada. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way back when during that, and I'm not going to go into that because it's so far away, but back then our gas was less than 50 cents a gallon. And then embargoes and all sorts of tomfoolery happened. Yeah, exactly. Manuel Noriega, that's Panama. You know, the US does not like to be told no. And the sad part is because, you know, as citizens, we are so far removed from what's going on a lot of the things on the world stage because we're so distracted what's going on here. Or we make a big play. And somebody called it out. I can't remember the name of the comedian. He actually called it out back in December. Steve Hofstetter.
Oh yeah.
This guy, I find him, he's a liberal comedian. I find him hysterical. But when he brought up, I can't remember what he brought up. It was about the Epstein files. He's like, well, the Epstein files are supposed to come out in 2 days. I wonder what tragic world event is going to happen to distract us from that.
Yeah, we see that all the time. Whenever there's like something that's like, you know, the current administration or any government around the world doesn't want to have the people focus on, suddenly something happens to take the news cycle in a different direction, right?
They let the illegal in to take our rights away. Oklahoma outlaw. I'm gonna assume that's Oklahoma outlaw. It's see here again the illegal. The illegals. I'll just put it that way for now. They are not the problem. They're part of the distraction.
Yeah, exactly. Wagging the dog.
Thank you. G2 is the super. Unfortunately, I am not an intellectual like G2, so he brings up all the good stuff, but also he knows some of the things that I have kind of touched on as far as South America and Central America. You know, way back in the day when we were younger and we had OPEC form, and the US tried to strong arm, and they managed to do it. And part of the strong arming was that the oil prices were going to be based on US dollars.
Yeah.
Well, now look what's happening. Some of these other countries are branching off and they're no longer doing things in US dollars.
Yeah, well, that's what I was reading the other day about, like, you know, BRIC in the you know, with China, Russia, and, you know, Venezuela and countries like that. It's it's giving China a push to try and get more people off of the U.S. greenback, right? Like when they see things like this, they can use what the sovereignty of Venezuela's borders and say, like, look at what the U.S. does. Your country means nothing to them. So why are you going to like get away from their money? It helps them with their propaganda is basically what I'm saying.
Well, and it's absolutely baffling to me how a country with such really crappy foreign policy and virtually no domestic policy can get away with claiming it's the most powerful and best country in the world. We're not.
A lot of propaganda from every country on the planet.
Bingo. That's money. It's power and money. The propaganda machine works very well. And the thing is, propaganda comes in different forms. You've been convinced that all, and especially by this administration, all the immigrants are bad. And you know what? I'm not going to say that there is no problem with the immigrants, because that's not true. There are areas where there are problems.
For sure.
But what happens is that's grabbed and then blown up and twisted into something. So then all of a sudden we're angry at these people while our government robs you blind.
Yeah, it's another way to divide people and, make I don't want to say like a big deal out of nothing. There's, like you said, there are issues there, but it's turned into a way to, harness people's anger and focus it away from the problems that the government is doing, and you end up throwing it all on people, right?
Yeah, and the government has been very effective at taking the majority of people who are politically inclined and convince them that hating each other is what we got to do. And that's no. I always want to tell people, if you really want to know how the government works, ask any Indian. Back in the 70s, but this program was has very long tentacles, so it didn't just start and work in the 70s. But the FBI had a program called, and they still use it, COINTELPRO. And the basic, most simplified premise of how it works is you cause dissension in a group of people to where they eat each other.
Yeah.
They fight each other. And you let the people do your work for you.
Yeah, totally. It's a tactic used,
yes,
as long as humans have been able to,
it worked.
Think.
They used it against the Black Panthers. It was effective in the American Indian movement, a group that I was a part of, not back in the 70s. I was too young then. But we have allowed these propaganda machines with the alphabet organizations to convince us that our own neighbor is our enemy. And if people are so worried about Russia, thank you, in the 56, we're so worried about Russia was really good at it. Their neighbors telling on each other, as if they're going to get some kind of favor. When the neighbors telling on you were under the same scrutiny, under the same spy network. So if they did something wrong, they were going to get in the same trouble. They didn't care. Yep, J. Edgar's baby. And unfortunately, I have mixed feelings about certain things, and one of those things I have mixed feelings on is January 6th. And here's the reason why. back in 74. I'm really stretching myself. We had what was called the Trail of Broken Treaties.
Yeah.
And Indian people from all over the states gathered together and gathered in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of became our version of January 6th. They broke into the BIA building.
Right, yeah.
And took over the BIA building. But they also it was a good thing that it happened, because we finally had the files, finally had the proof proving that the government had a forced sterilization program through the Indian Health Service.
Right.
We finally had the proof. So something that we had been trying to claim that the government had been doing since the 50s, by the way, to our Indian women, we finally, you'd go in for say a hangnail, they tell you have to go in the hospital and have to put you under, and then you'd come out and they would claim there was some kind of emergency issue that happened during the thing, and your womb ruptured or something like that, and they gave you a hysterectomy.
Yeah. Wild. Yeah.
And it happened to a dear friend of mine. So I have mixed feelings when it comes to stuff like that, because unfortunately the only way we find out about the truth about what our government's doing is if something like that occurs.
Yeah, totally. I understand that side of it. I mean, I guess to me the difference would be like the indigenous people doing that were doing it to, I guess, expose something specific about them. Like, it wasn't so much a plan to kind of overthrow democratic decisions at the time. It was about to expose a truth or a lie, I guess you could say, that was going on. Whereas where January 6th was kind of a, like, we're going to stop the democratic process from happening because we don't like the results
right
that we got.
That's like that's where my mixed feelings are, because we didn't have an active president in that moment pushing for it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so there is that, and that's why I say I have mixed feelings. I understand the anger of the people.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
when you've got this asshole that says, "Yeah, come on, we're gonna go make sure this is fair. I'll be right there with you," and then he's standing back laughing at all the stupid going on, because he knows how to start a riot. He knows how to convince people, and that's still going on now.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, like,
he knows how to talk.
Yeah. I can understand, like, there's a bigger systemic problem here, right? There's people are frustrated and angry, and that's why somebody like, that's why somebody like Trump or whatever can harness that anger and turn it into something that's, not really positive, like, you're not done in the right way. I don't know how to say it, but you know what I mean? Like, people are angry, and I get it. Like, a lot of people in the US, a lot of people in Canada, a lot of people in a lot of countries have a lot of reasons to be angry at the way certain things have been going in the last, 30, 40, 50 years. And
here's the thing though. Yeah, we have a right to be angry. However, what are you angry about? Really? Are you angry because they're doing something you don't like? Or, you've got to educate yourself politically.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I mean.
You've got to. You know what? Look at, here's a perfect example. When Pol Pot took power, what did he do? He took out the intellectuals. He took out the thinking people. He took out the doctors, the teachers, the university professors.
It's usually the MO.
Yeah.
Do that.
And then what are you left with? The working class. Because by taking out the intellectuals, you don't have people that know how to lead. And that's what's going on here. We have been so brainwashed into thinking that it's okay to attack our neighbor for their beliefs. And that our neighbor is the enemy because they're a conservative, or they're a liberal, or they're an atheist, or they're a Muslim, or they're Jewish. We've all been conditioned that these types of attacks are okay. And as long as we're all attacking and fighting and turning on each other, the government does what it wants. It gets away with it once because there's no civilian oversight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Trump's been talking about Venezuela for how long now? For years. For years. And then he yeah, just using the term, he trumps up some bullshit. Oh, it's about the drugs. It's about the fentanyl. It's about this. It's about, oh, we got to go in and take him out. Oh, really? If it is about protecting the American people, what are you doing by having our own National Guard out against our own people?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why are you ordering our military? Okay, peace. Thank you. Why are you ordering our military to do things they really should not be doing? It's bull. And because the people are not politically educated, they can get away with it. Because guess what? If you speak out against it, the person who supports them is going to attack you. Not look at what we're talking about. And that is a real problem here.
It's a pickle.
Yeah. We're so easy to anger and hate. Oh, but you know what? I'm not making any excuses for Maduro. He's not a good guy. He's in a long history of bad people running Venezuela. But at the same time, do you remember how the rhetoric started? It started with, it's a bad, evil country. It's a socialist country. That's what makes it bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because they went socialist, and socialism is evil. If it's so evil, how come our libraries, our fire department, our police departments, our military, those are all socialist programs? They're bad. Well, yeah, Oshin, that's a good point, because think about it. I forgot her name now, the gal that they claim, crap. The one that just got the Peace Prize. I find it funny. Her parents were in power before Chavez was. And when Chavez took over the country, he deleted her parents. So she has a big bone to pick. And Maduro was kind of sort of a hand-picked, elected, whatever, after Chavez. So there's a long line of favoritism, I'll say, going on there. So I'm not going to say that he's a good guy, but here's what I will say. There's not a whole lot of the country that's protesting or celebrating that he's gone.
No, I've been reading about some of the stuff going on in the streets and the people, and yeah, it's not good. Like, people are not impressed. People are not happy about it. I mean,
no,
their sovereignty was run.
Yeah, you're right. It's not going to go to international court. And the other thing that's not going to happen is NATO or whoever, I think it's NATO. Please correct me if I'm wrong, G2, because nobody is going to come against the U.S. because they're not going to. Even though we broke international law. Broke it. They're not going to come after us. They're not going to come after Trump. Yeah. This guy has got it's incredible. And I mean, you can't prove in a way you can't prove a bigger dick move than abducting the leader of another country.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing that they did, and this I know, I should have brought this up, so that you could put it on the screen or whatever. Something else they did that's highly illegal. You're not supposed to parade your prisoners around. And when they pulled him out of that plane and put him in the van and drove through the streets in New York City, they had the doors of that van wide open, showing off
lame.
that showing off. That's also illegal. I can't think of more dick flexing going on than this situation here. And it's embarrassing. But
well, the world's watching. I mean, Canada's watching for sure. I mean, there's a lot of talk here.
Yeah, the prisoner transfer from the helipad to the van. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. It was all show. And it was, South Park talking about his small penis. He's showing this is how big of a dick I can be. Not a good look for us as a country, but because we're too busy fighting over things like immigrants and all this other stuff, and hating on each other for our beliefs and our opinions, nothing gonna happen about that either. I get a kick out of how they kidnap him over drugs. Now they're kind of starting to backtrack a little bit. Well, it's not about fentanyl, and they weren't part of a drug cartel. But who do they allow to go into office? Vice president, the same administration, people. But probably somebody that is easier for them to control, because he made it clear. Yeah, right there. Instead of the opposition leader. Was not about socialism. Bingo. Exactly.
Well, what I found funny was Trump just had that big meeting with all the oil execs, right?
32 felonies. Oh, yeah.
And it was funny because, he was like, the U.S., we're going to go in, we're going to take the oil, U.S. companies are going to take the oil and whatnot.
We're going to sell it.
As they went around the table and it got to Exxon, the Exxon president or CEO, whoever the guy talking for Exxon, was basically just said that, well, Venezuela is very uninvestable right now, so it's not really in our interest to be investing and taking oil out of it. And it just sort of countered what Trump was saying, and I thought that was kind of humorous,
Well, it's
that
also
there needs to be a lot of work and change done in Venezuela before companies are willing to sink their money into it,
Well, yeah, Oshin, that is another part of it, because it distracted from those Epstein files. Our 32 felony president, But hey, right? It's all about the oil. And the other thing too, that's also illegal as part of international law. And I think the oil companies kind of recognize that, so they're not in a big hurry to run in there and take over.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. I mean,
there's oil from Central and South America has been a big messy proposition. Anyone that wants to know a really ugly story about it should look up the whole thing of what happened to attorney Steve was it Steve Donziger? I'm probably saying his name wrong. I know his last name is Donziger, Donziger. Look what happened to him. Just look that up. He won, I think it was Colombia. He won. There were indigenous tribes in Colombia that went after, at the time it was Texaco.
Okay.
And they won in court. He won, millions of dollars of settlements for the indigenous people, because they went in and pumped out all the oil. It was only supposed to be experimental drilling or some kind of deal. They dumped their crappy oil in the waters, and totally messed up ecosystems and stuff like that. So the indigenous people got hired Donziger to represent them, and they won in court. And somehow, I think it's Mobile now, got it. They refused to pay. They weren't going to do anything. Then somehow managed to get some kind of legal action against him here in the U.S. He was ordered to turn over his laptop, which he refused to do because it had the confidential information of not just this particular case, but all his clients. And so they took they put him on house arrest for that.
Yeah.
He ended up being convicted. It was a big nightmare. Yeah, I believe that there is. But the US does not mess around when it wants something.
Well, it certainly doesn't necessarily have to play fair when it doesn't want to.
Chevron. It was Chevron. Chevron bought Texaco. Steven Donziger. Look at what happened to him. They got him and put him in prison for 6 months for criminal contempt of court.
Yeah. Convenient.
And Chevron has still not paid these people, even though they won.
Yeah, of course not. Of course
they don't won't. Care. He represented, this was over 30,000 farmers and indigenous people. And what really upset me about it was, I really feel that Biden should have pardoned him before he left.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Biden's, hands
to me,
in the same pockets, of they're protecting the oil companies, of course, right? That's what it's about.
I feel bad. I felt bad for Biden. I think somebody should have been charged with elder abuse. He had no business being president. And
Possible.
I'm not talking about a lot of the policies I didn't like that allegedly were his policies. I'm not sure he had enough brain cells working at that point in time. I think he was the marionette on the end of the strings at that point. But I hope someday that some president pardons him, because he did not deserve that. Steven Donziger did not deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing, that Maduro, like I said, Maduro's not he has taken advantage of these socialist programs and enriched himself, just like Russia does with their programs. And obviously, our country, our president's doing with his programs. So, yeah, pot, meat, kettle on that one, Trump. Anyway, we'll jump off of that.
Well, we're pretty much at 2 hours here. What do you think you want to do? Do you want to push
I don't know. I'll tell you what. Let's let chat decide. Should I keep talking? Are you guys bored yet? There's a whole 18 of you watching at this moment. If my numbers are correct.
Yeah, the next subject isn't all that pleasant either.
Yeah, exactly. Mystery. It is Renee Good.
Yeah. Kelly's not bored.
Okay. We had a horrific turn of events in Minneapolis with the murder of Renee Good by an ICE agent, and I'm calling it as I see it. One thing about it is there was clear video from several directions, many witnesses who saw what happened, and of course we had our government that's supposed to protect the people lie from the vice president down about what occurred.
Yeah, making pretty definitive statements right out of the gate.
Yeah, right out of the gate. And I've got no problem stating that if a fire was to occur to any of those people, I'd be cheering on the barbecue, because they have no business being in office, being that hateful towards our own citizens. And especially, here's the thing, a lot of them, there's a point. Some people do have a point in saying, well, if you're going to be at a protest, you're going to have to accept what happens. And that's true. I spent years, for those of you who may be familiar with Cleveland, Ohio, when the baseball team was the Cleveland Indians, I was part of the protests there. I was there every opening day, protesting my people, our people, being used as a mascot for a professional sports team that was making money off of a very undignified mascot, a very undignified looking representation of our appearance. And they claim they were honoring us. Well, I spent a lot of time going to a lot of schools teaching the actual story about the team name. And the propaganda is that they named the team after an Indian player named Sokolexis. And that's only not true. He was a player. He was not a standout player by any means. They didn't even have a lot of Indian players.
Right.
They didn't. Yeah. So what it was the sports writers. The name of the original team was Cleveland Spiders. Okay. So a lot of people don't like arachnids, and the sports writers didn't either.
Hey.
I love arachnids. They're awesome.
Awesome.
The sports writers was like, you need a better team name than that. And somehow, anyway, between the sports writers and submissions from fans, they chose the Cleveland Indians. And then somebody came up with that horrible Cleveland Spider Dogs. There we go. Now there's a team. Then they came up with that horrible depiction called Chief Wahoo. Now, I'm not big on the whole PC thing. I think it's kind of ridiculous. But if you're gonna be disparaging to one group of people, do it to all of them. Make it fair.
Yeah.
Do it to all of them, or don't do it. But don't sit there and make an embarrassing depiction of what our people look like and then try and claim you're honoring us. Not happening.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
not only is it was damaging for the children, because Cleveland was also an assimilation city. It was part of the assimilation program where they were trying to bribe people off of reservations. Yeah. Hey, we'll give you this place to live. We'll teach you how to use a phone, because reservations didn't have phones at the time. All this kind of stuff. And guess what? Guess was another assimilation town, Minneapolis. Tons of Indians in Wisconsin. Yeah. Or I'm sorry, Minnesota. Damn, why I keep switching those two states. It's a problem of mine. These assimilation cities were not a good thing. It was destructive. It was almost as destructive as the industrial schools when they were kidnapping Indian children and forcing them into these Indian schools.
Yeah.
I know Angel gave her. I'm so sorry. At least she knows I have this problem, because I admitted it to her a while ago. Why do I keep switching them? But yeah. So first, Minneapolis is not unaccustomed to racist issues. So much is going on there. And then you've got a president who decides that only certain areas are crime-ridden. And sends in ICE and the National Guard. Now, problem with ICE is these people are barely trained.
Yeah.
Barely trained. And the gentleman in question, and I'm using the term gentleman loosely, who shot Miss Good, had been involved in being dragged by a vehicle months before that. Here's the problem. People are on the, I guess the opposing side, you want to call it, or saying, well, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. Hate to break it to you, accusing her of being Mexican. Oh yeah, That's even going on the Navajo reservation. ICE has gone on the reservations claiming, and this is Nome herself because she claimed it while she was still governor, that Indian reservations are hiding illegals on the reservations, which is bullshit. So anyway, this young lady who was murdered, dropped her child off at school. She lived in the area. So anybody who's sitting there saying, well, she shouldn't have been in the area, what's she supposed to do? She dropped her kid off at school. Well, yeah, that $50K sign-on bonus was a really good perk for Dean Cain to sign up.
Pretty wild.
Actor Dean Cain. Okay, here, this is how well the propaganda works here. Dean Cain, formerly of the New Adventures of Superman, I think was the show where he played Superman. He is going to, he did a public service announcement for ICE saying he was signing up the next day to become an officer with ICE.
Yeah, I saw that.
If anybody ever has looked at Dean Cain, and he's gonna do it to protect this country, right? Yeah, Dean Cain's dad is Japanese. His last name is Tanaka. Okay, so Mr. Dean Tanaka, you're going to go and protect these American values of white America? Mr. Tanaka? Yeah, okay. Because that's what it's about with this administration. And the thing is, people like him make it dangerous for white people. Did I get that wrong?
No, you did not.
Christopher Cain was his stepdad. Roger Tanaka was his real dad. If I remember correctly.
Kelly's saying nope. I haven't looked it up.
Yeah, they are, Oshin. Now, I could have swore that Roger Tanaka was his dad.
His name is Dean George Tanaka.
Yeah, that's Dean Cain's real name.
Yeah.
He's using Dean Cain as his professional name.
Yeah. Yeah, his father was Roger Tanaka.
Yeah.
Japanese descent.
So, I have a real problem with that, dude. Just like it's just like I have a problem when I tell people that I am mixed race. I'm as bleached out as anything. I'm as white as can be. Okay? There's no denying that. And I'm not trying to hide it either. Because I am just as much European as I am Native American. All right? And I get it from both sides. I go on the reservation, they see a white girl, and then out here in dominant culture, when I mention that I have, I'm not 100% white, what? You're mixed race?
Yeah.
This is the kind of hate.
90% of all Americans are mixed race. Jesus Christ.
Hey, cool it. This is my show.
I love you.
No, you don't. This is the kind of hate, the propaganda of hate that we have for our neighbors. Well, he might be. Look at, okay, here's another thing about the administration. For a while, they went after the anchor babies, right? Guess who else had
Yeah.
anchor babies? Our president.
Oh, yeah. Well, totally.
The first 3 kids were all anchor babies. His wife did not become a U.S. citizen until at least the 2 boys were born, if I remember correctly. So he had to tone that down too. Because if he is going after anchor babies and saying, well, anchor babies don't allow you to be then his kids could have been deported under his own rules.
Yeah.
Dumb. This is why you need to politically educate yourselves, because you're going to find it very helpful when you have to defend yourself against your own government. Yeah, and that's okay. The fuck ice bumper sticker, right? That's for First Amendment protection right there.
Yeah, it
You're
should
allowed
be, right?
you are allowed to do that. Okay. This gal, Miss Good, I forgot her first name already. Miss Good was yelling at the officers saying that they shouldn't be there. This woman was turning onto a street to go home. She just dropped her kid off at school. And they were parked all over the street, so making it hard for these cars. Renee, good, thank you, Angel Gamer. So Renee, understandably angry, you're messing up my neighborhood here. She yells at him. Not much different than that bumper sticker. And they took offense to it. So instead of de-escalating the situation, which is what you're allegedly trained to do, and I have to question the amount of training. Jimmy Kimmel had plenty of free speech the other night. Talking about it. That's how he won. That's how he got his show back. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm sorry, but Stephen, what's his face? And Stephen Colbert and his company caved to the administration. I am glad Jimmy Kimmel came back. I am glad that South Park exists. We have to stand up to this, but we have to stand together. As long as we're fighting each other about details, rhetoric, and propaganda, they're going to continue to get away with it. They're going to continue to get away with it. She wasn't. They painted her like she was some kind of agent from the evil Democrat side. Right? That's what Christy Nome, Miss Ice Barbie, was saying. And then the vice president shows up in town.
Yeah.
Touting some of the same crap. Dude, you're married to an Indian woman from India. Her parents are from India. You embarrass her by saying that you hope she becomes a Christian. You don't even act like one. And you're going to come to town like you're some kind of white knight. No. I don't care what side you're on. I don't care if you're a conservative. I don't care if you're a liberal. I am an unapologetic, gun-toting progressive. Educate yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are tough and you know what you're talking about, you can force them to back down. And I'll give you an example. Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly, senator from Arizona. He happens to represent the district I am in. I do not agree with him on a lot of things. This is why I do not claim Democrat or Republican. because neither side represents my interests. And my interests are what is best for the greater good. That's the side I'm on. Who's
Humanism.
going to take care? Yeah. Who's going to take care of and protect and support the most people? And Mark Kelly stood up to Keg's breath. Our Secretary of Defense. No, it's not war. Just like it's still the Gulf of Mexico. Okay? None of that got changed legally. So when Keg's breath decided that he needed to make an example of Mark Kelly by having him demoted, well, first he got the censure through. And that doesn't hold a ton of weight. But now, then he wanted to go after, and he wanted to demote him and go after his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
This is a decorated naval officer, commander of a space shuttle. This man has been in public service since before Trump was evading the draft with his bone spurs. 6 times, by the way. Okay? This man fought for his country, served his country, and when a mentally unstable man shot his wife, he stood up, ran for office, and took her place. Still serving the public. Like I said, he is a Democrat, and I don't agree with Democrats just as much as I don't agree with Republicans, because they're all corporate. But he stood up to Trump and Keg's breath. And Pete had to back down a little bit on his rhetoric. Yeah, exactly, Kelly. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I'm not going to run because Trump's going to make it hard on me. Well, imagine, it's pretty convenient. You made that announcement 3 days after you served long enough to get your permanent benefits.
Mm-hmm.
There should be no such thing as permanent benefits for public servants.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty convenient.
Well, she also was like saying she wanted to run for the Senate, and she was told by the administration, by Trump and them, that
they were going to support her opposer.
Yeah, exactly. So she's very sour.
Oh, she and I used to watch Secular Talk. But I have my issue with his affair with Crystal Ball, and his, during the time where there was a big push for Medicare for all, he was against it. He had a lot to say about a lot of basically what it came down to is, in the end, Ossoff was running against her? Oh, okay. I didn't realize that, because any of the ads I saw Ossoff in, he never mentioned her name. And since I don't live over there, I didn't pay attention to it. So my bad on that. No, I should not have my husband on for some commentary, because he gets angry. Oh, yeah. And then he doesn't know how to stop. He's back there now. Yeah, I would. You know what? I would love to have him on. Yeah.
I love you, but that's a bad idea.
I'm a political junkie too. Oh, they're saying, haha, come on. You know what? I would love to, but it's one, I'm gonna kind of say this a little bit. my husband is a let me I stop. You be quiet. I'm saying this. My husband calls himself an American national. As you guys know, I use the term sob shit and the other unflattering terms. So you could tell where we stand. We are vast worlds apart on this issue. Let me qualify that, but oh yeah, our next I don't want I at this point in time I don't want to get into why it should be called weird geriatric sex, but maybe someday we'll talk about that, because that brings up wounds of a different kind. and for other people.
It's only weird if it's necrophilia.
Shut up. Get out of here. It's my show. Anyway, we are unable to diplomatically talk about some of the issues that American nationals believe. No, he is not a Moorish American. He's a he's a cracker. He's my white chocolate. It's Angel Gamer said they're gonna buy you a helmet to protect you from my boobs.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys heard that. Anyway, we've been in couples counseling before. We are in it now again, because it's a topic that we cannot discuss without it becoming extremely heated. I want to qualify this by not every, I mean, it's my terms, it's my show. Not every sovereign citizen is these crazy nut jobs that you see on the YouTube videos. Some of the things that they believe actually come from an honest place. Where they err is they become so desperate to prove, only in the moment, so desperate to prove that what they're saying is right, that they don't fully vet the evidence that they use to defend themselves. And like the claim it's all Supreme Court decisions, that's actually true. A lot of the stuff they use are Supreme Court decisions. The problem with it is they're state Supreme Court decisions, and most state Supreme Court decisions are procedural issues. They're not law. Okay, so there's a failing there. And I don't want to go any farther than that, because out of respect for my husband, who is only like, how many feet is this? 20?
Say what you want. I really don't care.
Stop. How many feet between us right now?
Like I said, I have no opinion.
How many feet between us right now?
20.
There's about 20 feet between us, and we just went through a tough time here within the last couple of weeks even. For both of us, our marriage is more important than our ideology, but sometimes things get in the way. And I'll call it, just like in real life, our own propaganda becomes destructive. So, yeah, because I look at what he is saying as propaganda, he sees what I'm saying as propaganda, and it's just, we have to decide in the moment when we're talking about stuff like this, what's more important, our marriage or winning, right?
Yep.
And of course the marriage is more important. So he's done some things, gone totally against his ideology to make me feel safer. He got his driver's license. His car is legally registered, and I pay the car insurance because I told him I would if he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are the priorities that he put in place to make me feel safer.
Yeah. Makes
And
sense.
he doesn't believe it. And there was a part of me that I didn't want him to do it unless he believed it. But like our therapist said, take the win. He did it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't look at it that way. It's kind of like, don't lose weight to make other people happy or to look better for other people. Do it for yourself. It's kind of along the same lines. I won't do it for myself. I'm doing it because I know it'll make my husband happy, and I'll be able to spend more time with him if I'm alive.
That's true.
Okay. So yeah, so having him on the show, it would be difficult because he, like myself, is so passionate about what he believes. But I've got decades of political activism behind me. Decades. I cut my teeth with the American Indian movement. So I've got a lot of training in trying to be more educational than oppositional.
Right, yeah.
For him, in the situation he's in, he is always on the defense, very oppositional. He doesn't know how to make that I'm always hammering him on educational. Prove it to me. Show me this, show me that. And to him, I should just believe it because the government's corrupt, therefore what he says is true. And it's not that easy for me because I trust that ideology about as much as I trust the government. So that is why at this point in time in our relationship, it is not safe to have those kind of discussions. Because keeping our marriage intact is more important than that. Now believe me, both of us do our thing. We watch our videos and stuff like that. He's got his earbuds on. So most of the time I don't hear his stuff. Most of the time he doesn't hear mine. I actually take advantage of when he goes to the store or does something outside. I'll listen to a quick video or something like that because I don't want to upset him. I love him. Why would I want to upset my husband?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it comes down to. Well, you know what? For us, when we debate sometimes, and it's a good debate, it is funny because we have had discussions where we could take pot shots at each other and it's fun and funny, and that would be super awesome. But we can't always do that. Yeah, you cannot fix the government by not participating. And the other thing is, and thankfully my husband does not do this. Oh my God. But somebody like BSBT, right? He thinks he thinks it's a noble thing to be arrested and thrown in jail for his beliefs.
Yeah.
Paul, how effective are you in making any kind of change or standing up to the government when they've got you put away where they want you because now you can't be an annoyance?
Yeah, it's a silly.
You're an idiot.
Silly position.
He thinks he's martyring himself for the cause. No, he's not. He's proving how stupid he is. And that is, another argument. The only way you beat the government is, first of all, you got to do it by their rules.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you also got to have numbers. You can't. Very, very few times are you able to do it alone.
Yeah,
and until that movement shows me a solid win, I mean an actual win, not a dismissal, not some technicality or whatever, an actual win, the track record's poor. But Indian country's got a pretty good track record going of actual wins against the government using their rules.
Yeah.
So if you want to be on the side that's winning against the government, learn from the people who've already been doing it.
Yeah. They're never going to let you play like the game against their rules. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Well, when I was a kid, we had a joke that the reason why the government doesn't like organized crime is they don't like competition.
Yeah.
And it still holds true.
Yeah.
It still holds true. But if you
if organized crime paid taxes, they think about it differently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all about the if you knew how. Yeah. So and getting back to Minnesota, that's did I get the state wrong again?
No.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. The people are getting smart now. I saw some videos of people that surrounded a local corner store.
Yeah, it was a gas station, corner store.
And they wouldn't let ICE there to pull somebody out that was inside. I think it was the owner of the store or something like that. And they stayed there long enough that ICE walked away.
Yeah, they ended up leaving.
Doesn't mean they're not going to come back, but in the
True.
moment, a temporary. Because see, those agents are not supposed to be there to police the regular citizen.
Yeah.
So when the regular citizen stood up and crowded around the entry to that store, what were they going to do? They knew if they started grabbing people and shoving them out of the way, it was going to cause a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be brave, but you have to be smart.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I hope to see more of that, but I'm also scared that, it's everything can go south really quickly.
To snitch on their neighbors. That's COINTELPRO out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
That's Gestapo and I forgot the G whatever, I think I forgot what it is in Russia. KGB.
Mm-hmm.
KGB crap going on in our own country, right? But socialism's bad. Socially, Democrats are your enemy. Well, they kind of are, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And also on the same day, guess what? They shot 2 people in Portland.
Yeah.
They shot 2 people in Portland. And the only way it's going to stop is if people force it to stop. Now, I've seen a lot of comments that why can't we go on a national strike like France does, or company. Oh fuck, Tom Homan. Yeah. And the reason why is we're so fractured. We've allowed the propaganda to sink in. We've allowed the fear to sink in.
Yeah.
Social disobedience isn't always about a riot, but people, not only are we too disorganized, but we've also allowed bad actors to usurp what used to be a good thing. Protesting used to be a very American thing. It's been going on since before this country was a country. That's the other. You bring up a good point, Oshin. He wanted to beat those deportation numbers, and Obama's is still better than his. Yeah, Russia's got a good game going with that propaganda, and our country is no different. And that we are so fractured now that we can't even group with our neighbor. I used to go to Second Amendment rallies. And when people found out that I was a liberal, they didn't want me there. I'm like, I'm here believing in the same thing you believe. I want to defend the Second Amendment too, but I wasn't allowed to. at the time as a liberal, and still not as a progressive. And I look at those people, and I would get mad and say, you guys are idiots. There's over 16 million liberal and progressive gun owners that believe in the Second Amendment. Those are 16 million possible votes that you could have.
Yeah.
And you're going to undermine that support because their political ideology doesn't agree with yours.
Yeah, over flag waving, basically. Like,
but
oh, you're not carrying the flag I'm carrying, right?
Right. Here's something we do agree on. Why don't we meet here on this point? Oh, that's not allowed. Yeah. You know, and it really throws people off when I talk politics, and then they ask me, well, what are you? And I tell them I'm a gun-toting progressive, and they they look at me because it doesn't register right away.
Yeah, it's not the norm
Right.
that they've been told.
Yeah, and I don't like to be pigeonholed. And the reason why is if there's a Republican that's a good person, that appears to be doing things right, I want to be able to vote for that person.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
I don't care.
Look at the policies versus the party, right?
Well, yeah. And yeah, guns have been made a political thing. And the only, why everybody has a different idea of what common sense is. And here's the problem with the common sense argument. It does nothing to solve the problem. The problem in this country is despair. The lack of livable wages, affordable housing, eating crap for food instead of actual food, our poor health. Things that we need to survive. If we're solid with those things, every crime statistic lowers when the people are comfortable, when they're happy, when they see a future. Every crime statistic goes down. I'm not going to say it's going to be fully eliminated. It's not. People have anger issues, mental issues, whatever. But we need to help those people, not throw them under the bus or tell them they should be dead because they're not productive. Let's find out what they need and help them get it and do it. Titties should be the pyramid food group. My husband would agree with you. Michael, it's not just Trump. It's virtually every elected official. All those fake progressives in Congress that call themselves progressives, but they're nowhere near it. All those corporate Democrats, they're just as bad as Trump. You think about that. Every one of the Congress people that are involved in the stock market magically averaged a higher rate of return on their investments in the stock market. 57% average. That's better than the people that actually work in the industry trading the stocks. Why is that? And who's on the top of that list? Nancy Pelosi, a hardcore Democrat. So don't sit there and tell me it's just Trump. Because it's not. It's most of Congress, too. We need to educate ourselves. We need to vet the people that are running for office. And we need to be willing to get rid of them if they don't hold up their end. But because American people, the people in the United States, are so distracted by bullshit, apathetic about what's important, and annoyed with stuff that they don't agree with, they're not involved. And Congress and the president loot the money from the taxpayer. Same thing with the war in the Middle East. They took advantage of a terrible tragedy, spun the propaganda, and then, wow, look at how much money a bunch of those guys, Dick Cheney, made with businesses in the Middle East.
I mean, you see the exact same thing happen. Like Venezuela is the same thing. They just
Yep.
they did Venezuela on a lie, basically.
Yep, exactly. And look at Gaza. What's the first things out of Trump's mouth? Oh, I know real estate. Guess what Gaza has? It has a nice big long stretch of beach and water.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I would so love if the people in general, education, our educational system, you know why it's crap? So it generates crap students. And you either you end up doing one or two things. You end up working for the man for the rest of your life, or you are fodder for the for-profit prison system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, the natural gas reserve. I forgot about that, too. And don't they have deep water or whatever so you could bring ships in? Okay, so I don't know Jimbo, if I should talk bad or anything. You guys deserved it. Yeah. Oh, and another bone to pick. We go to war on all this bullshit. We get guys that are emotionally wounded coming back, and then you gotta fight to get care for them. No, they should be taken care of without question. Israel has a pretty good deal when their soldiers come back from combat. I think it's combat, or they put them. They have a program that they put them through so that they can put them back in society. Mm-hmm. Why don't we do something like that? Oh, it's not profitable.
In the long run, it would be very profitable.
It's not profitable. Because the only profit that needs to, I'm going to start running in circles here on this one.
Well, that's okay. Maybe we should wind it down. This is another topic we could hit and do
Holy
another
crap,
2.5 hours.
3 hours here.
Yeah, we're pushing
wow.
2 hours 45 minutes.
You guys are still with me.
You're still listening. What do you say we do that? What do we just we wind it down here, and then we'll be back next week, and we could hit this topic or hit a different one. But yeah, we've got
it'll be something.
you just got a taste of your controversial M&M today. It's good.
Oh, yeah. When you said that, I immediately thought of that video that Jeff posted in Discord.
Oh, Eminem.
Yeah.
I meant double M's. I guess I said that wrong. Double M's. Controversial double M's.
Yeah, I am a political junkie. I am.
That's okay. That's great.
I firmly believe that we need to. There are two things we really lack in our schools, and that's not teaching better about economics and not teaching better about civics.
Yeah, critical thinking, stuff like that.
Yeah, our educational system is bad enough, but it's oh God, it's another evil socialist program. So wow.
Well, how do you feel about today?
Jimbo, that transition was very difficult, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you literally go from having to watch your back and your brother's backs and on a high sense of alert at all times, and then all of a sudden you're in civilian life.
Yeah, that's wild. That's unsustainable. That shouldn't be done at all.
Those tools should be used even more.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I have such a soft spot in my heart for our veterans is because to me they were used.
Mm-hmm.
That our country as a whole, the world as a whole, was lied to about those WMDs, and our soldiers are still paying the price for it to this day.
Yeah, you're gonna be paying the price for a long time. 20 years of war isn't nothing. Isn't nothing.
My husband was not in combat, as he did not experience combat as Jimbo did, but he experienced other things, and that's why I say not every sovereign citizen is somebody that's trying to game the system and get out of being responsible.
Yeah, well, you have opinions.
Some of these guys have legitimate reasons to fear the government.
Mm-hmm.
And they are legitimate reasons, but it's doing something effective. And the people, us as citizens, need to educate ourselves so that we can act in an effective manner. The government is most terrified of an intelligent and thinking citizen.
Yep.
That's their greatest fear. Their next greatest fear is their fear that you're not going to vote for them. And we need to use that.
Yeah.
And be loud about it. We need to use that. That's why I just have, our next election is probably going to go Democrat because, everybody's going to say, the Republicans, so it's going to go, we keep switching sides.
Yeah, it's a pendulum.
Taking turns, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just, I've just got, oh God, it's going to be Gavin Newsom.
Probably.
He's got the looks. And I didn't know this, right? Talk about educating myself. I recently found out that one of the top shills for the Republican Party, Kimberly Guilfoyle, is his ex-wife.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I know it's wild, eh?
Stunned. I'm like, holy cow.
Small circles.
Yeah, it's just, oh man, it's like, wow, politically inbred. Come on. Yeah. All right. So anyway, thank you for being with us in this lively chat. I love talking politics and I love talking health. Those are my two favorite topics.
And make sure you leave a comment and hit the thumbs and subscribe. It's a good good show.
Share it with your friends. Even if they just come in and click the thumb and leave, I love you a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know for sure. Jeff said he was going to have a live, but it was going to be pretty late. I know he's making a long drive, so keep an eye out on Discord to see if he's pops up a link or something for his live tonight. I don't know how tired he's going to be.
Yeah, he might be on. We'll see.
Yeah. So,
All right.
you guys take care of yourselves.
Thanks for stopping by, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see you next Sunday.
Sunday.
See you later.
Thank you, Angel Gamer.